Good day everyone and welcome to this presentation on a risk framework. And to define a risk framework, this one is a structured methodology that organizations use to identify, to assess, to manage and mitigate risk, particularly in the context of information security and business operations. So these frameworks provide a systematic approach to understanding what could go wrong, evaluating the potential impact and likelihood of those risks, and implementing controls to reduce them to acceptable level. So by using a risk framework, organizations can make informed decisions, prioritize resources, and demonstrate due diligence for compliance and governance. So we're going to explain the four risk frameworks that we have. Just going to explain Octave, FAIR, NIST, and ISO 27005. So when you're talking of Octave, this is operationally critical threat, asset, and vulnerability evaluation framework. Is a self-directed risk assessment methodology. This one emphasizes the importance of understanding organizational assets such as data, systems, and processes, and the threats and the vulnerabilities that could impact them. So the process is typically carried out by a multidisciplinary team from within the organization rather than relying solely on external consultants. So this one involves three main phases: identifying critical assets and their security requirements, evaluating the infrastructure and identifying vulnerabilities, and developing a protection strategy. For example, a hospital might use Octave to identify patient records as a critical asset, evaluate threats like unauthorized access or ransomware, and then implement strong access controls and regular backups as part of its risk mitigation plan. Then there is FAIR. This one is a factor analysis of information risk framework. This one is a quantitative model that helps organizations measure and analyze information risk in financial terms. Unlike qualitative approaches that use subjective ratings like high, medium, or low, FAIR breaks down risk into measurable components such as the frequency of threat events, the probability of loss, and the magnitude of impact. So this enables organizations to estimate the probable annualized loss exposure for specific risk, supporting more objective and defensible decision making. For instance, a bank might use FAIR to calculate the expected financial loss from phishing attacks by analyzing how often such incidents occur, the likelihood of them succeeding, and the average cost of a breach. So this allows the bank to prioritize investments in security awareness training or email filtering technologies based on potential return on investment. Then there is the NIST risk management framework. This was developed by the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology and is a comprehensive process that integrates security and risk management activities into the system development lifecycle. Right. So the risk management for this one, the risk management framework consists of several steps: categorizing information systems, selecting appropriate security controls, implementing those controls, assessing the effectiveness, authorizing system operation, and continuously monitoring the system for new risk. So NIST risk management framework is widely adopted by U.S. federal agents and organizations that need to comply with federal security standards such as FISMA. For example, a government agency deploying a new cloud service would use the risk management framework to determine the system's impact level, select controls from NIST SP 800053, implement and test those controls, and then continuously monitor for vulnerabilities or compliance issue. Then we move on to the last one, the ISO 27005. This one is an international standard that provides guidelines for information security risk management within the broader ISO 27000 family, which is focused on information security management systems. So this one outlines a flexible and iterative process for identifying, assessing, evaluating, and treating, accepting, and monitoring information security risk. So the standard supports both qualitative and quantitative assessment methods making it adaptable to organizations of any size or sector. For example, a global manufacturing company seeking ISO 27001 certification would use ISO 27005 to systematically identify risk to its intellectual property and production systems, assess the likelihood and impact of threats like industrial espionage or cyber attacks, and select appropriate controls to mitigate those risks in alignment with the business objectives. In summary, Octave, FAIR, NIST, Risk Management Framework, and ISO 27005 are established risk frameworks, each with its own emphasis and the methodology. Octave is asset and organizational focused. FAIR is quantitative and financially driven. NIST is process oriented and compliance driven. ISO 27005 is standards based and adaptable. So you need to select and apply the right framework, and organization can better understand the risk landscape and allocate resources efficiently and strengthen their overall security posture. This marks the end of this presentation.